Pursuant to notice, I call up the report recommending the House of Representatives cite United States Attorney General Merrick B. Garland for contempt of Congress and move that the committee report it to the House. The clerk will report the report.
Resolution recommending that the House of Representatives.
Without objection, the report will be considered as read and open for amendment at any point. The chair now recognizes himself for an opening statement. Special Counsel Robert Hur stated on page 1 of his report, quote, "Our investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified materials after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. Joe Biden not only kept information he wasn't allowed to keep, he shared it with people who weren't allowed to see it. He shared that information with his ghostwriter. Special Counsel Hur said that President Biden had strong motivations to do so and to ignore the rules of properly handling the classified information in his notebooks. In fact, he had 8 million reasons to ignore the rules. Joe Biden shared some of the classified materials he kept with his ghostwriter, who was writing a book for which Joe Biden received an $8 million advance. So we have motive, $8 million motive, and we have the elements of the crime, knowingly keeping, knowingly disclosing classified information. But all this, and Special Counsel Hur declines to prosecute Joe Biden because he is, quote, a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. And that brings us to today. Following the release of Special Counsel Hur's report, we subpoenaed the transcript and audio recordings of Special Counsel Hur's interviews with President Biden and his ghostwriter, Mark Zwanitzer. To date, Attorney General Garland has failed to produce the audio tapes. To determine whether Special Counsel Hur appropriately carried out justice by not prosecuting, not recommending for prosecution the president, the recordings are necessary. The transcripts alone are not sufficient evidence of the state of the president's memory. Frankly, because the White House has a track record of altering the transcripts. Just weeks ago, during a public speech, President Biden read a teleprompter instruction to pause. He stated, "Imagine what we could do next, 4 more years, pause." But when the White House put out the transcript, it didn't include the word pause. In that case, and in this case as well, the video and the audio recording is the best evidence of the words that President Biden actually spoke. The department's refusal to produce the audio recordings of Special Counsel Hur's interviews with President Biden amounts to a demand that the committee trust that the department created and produced interview transcripts are actually accurate and complete. Transcripts that the White House and President Biden's personal counsel likely had access to before they were finalized. The department has a legal obligation to turn over the requested materials pursuant to the subpoena. Attorney General Garland's willful refusal to comply with our subpoena constitutes contempt of Congress. Now today, this morning, we get an 11th hour invocation of executive privilege. President Biden is asserting executive privilege for the same reason we need the audio recordings. They offer a unique perspective. This last-minute invocation does not change the fact that the Attorney General has not complied with our subpoena.